Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us at our family Appy hour this evening. Tonight is about introducing you to the apps we use the most in the Bugs community. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to look at two of the most important applications that families will use throughout the year. These applications require you to register as a new parent user before you can access your students' information. Dean's List. Dean's List is something that we use every day. Here, families can check their students' attendance and check in on how well students are applying CARES values. The CARES values are community, awareness, reach, exploration, and student voice. Students can earn points when they are applying these values, and each week a CARES report is sent to families to give you a summary of your students' actions throughout the school week. Just today, the Dean team sent emails to all families. In that email, it was explained how to set up your parent account, and you will also need your unique parent validation code to complete your registration. So please check your email carefully for this info. Here on the slide, you'll see a snapshot of my parent portal for my own child at Bugs. So as you can see, this is what happens as soon as you log in. You'll get recent notifications. So as the year progresses, if a CARES report has gone out and say you missed it, you'll be able to see that here. And then the available reports are below. Looks like I have to sign something. Here's Teacher Ease. Teacher Ease is used for several different reasons. You may remember setting this up during your enrollment appointment. You would have entered your name, your address, your phone number, email address, parent emergency contact info, all that good stuff. And this is also your go-to place to view your students' schedule and grades. So for those of you who attended last night, I know there were a couple of questions about student schedule. When will we know? Well, once you get into Teacher Ease, you should be able to view your student schedule. Teachers and other staff members will also email you through this interface. It may show up in your inbox looking like the picture we see here. However, if you unsubscribe or opt out, you won't receive our emails. This might also mean that you'll miss out on notifications regarding missing assignments, upcoming due dates, and test dates. So please do not unsubscribe from Teacher Ease. It's super important. Here we have Dreambox. This is relatively new to the Bugs family. We brought Dreambox on in the spring of last year. And Dreambox is a targeted intervention math program. It creates individualized tracks for each student based on their academic needs. So again, it will not be used by all students, but for our learners who are just needing an extra boost. Vocabulary. Vocabulary is exactly what it sounds like. Vocab with a flow. The makers of Vocabulary have found a way to use rhythmic rhymes to engage learners, promote literacy, and spark creativity. The videos included often cover high-level vocabulary and give kids a jingle to help them remember what each word means. I'll warn you, parents, if you're listening in, it can be a bit cheesy. You might say to yourself, what are you listening to? But trust me, coming from a Bugs parent, it does help get the job done. Brain Pop. Brain Pop has two different versions. There's Brain Pop Junior, which is targeting elementary school students, and then there's the secondary level of Brain Pop. It's used to complement topics that students are currently learning in class, but it also covers current events, like the ones you see posted here, like returning to school during COVID, or an interview with Dr. Anthony Fauci. The videos are typically short, about 5 to 10 minutes, but again, they do a great job providing images for our visual learners. And now I'll pass it off to Miss Jess to talk to us more about Classcraft, which is what you've been hearing about all week.
Thank you, Sade. So I'm going to briefly talk about Classcraft. You've probably seen the student portal throughout the week as your students use it to access their orientation materials. I'm going to show you what they're seeing and talk a little bit about why we use Classcraft. So what this platform does is it takes all of our virtual materials, so everything from Google Classroom, Dreambox, everything that we're going to go over today, and it turns those activities into a board game, and students complete objectives on that board game or that map interface one by one. So what it's really great at, and we can do the next slide too. Thank you. Is scheduling out activities for students. So if they miss a day of orientation, if they miss an activity or a lesson in class, it's really easy to catch up. So what you're seeing here are different lessons. So day 1, day 2, day 3, and the students click on those. Next slide. And this is what it looks like. So only visible to them are the objectives that they need to complete for that day. So once they complete a task, the next one will show up, and it's not overwhelming to catch up on work. And this is what it looks like when they begin a task. And next slide. And this is what it looks like when they're reading instructions and completing assignments within Classcraft. And then, of course, they have their avatar, and they get points for turning in work or completing different objectives. And they can earn privileges and different tokens within the game using those points. And that's pretty much it for Classcraft. We're using it for orientation, also as a way of training our teachers and seeing how our teachers like the interface. So it may show up later on in the school year as well. Thank you, Sade.
There we go. Thanks, Jess. We also were thinking about, and you may have said this when I was responding in the chat, using Classcraft as a way to encourage students to explore social emotional activities. So I just wanted to also plug that in here as well, and apologies if that was redundant. Okay, moving on past Classcraft. We have Khan Academy. Many of you are probably already familiar with Khan Academy. Here at Bugs, our students will use this program to accompany their classwork. On some days, it may be their classwork and not just an accompaniment. Students need to use their Bugs logins to access the program. Okay, so first name dot last name, right? Student first name dot last name at bugsbrooklyn.org, and their Bugs password will get them in. Your student account may not be set up just yet, so don't panic if it doesn't work tonight, okay? Teachers will support students in class with getting this set up and running beginning next week. All right, so as I said last night, we will have some friendly competition. It's game time. You've heard a lot from me and Miss Jess, so let's see how much you remember. Everyone, get your phones out and join me on Kahoot. Use the code on the screen to gain access to the game. And just give that a moment to load up on my end so you can see that on yours.
I'm sorry I arrived late, so I have no idea what are we doing.
All right. Here is the Kahoot game pin. Now this can get a bit noisy, so I'll just ask that we all keep our mics off during this time. Come on, don't be shy. We're up to 17. $19. Can we hit 20? Not everybody has to play, but it does break it up a bit. All right. All right, 10 more seconds if you want to join in on the fun. Three, 2, 1. All right, here we go. Dean's List is used for grades, PTA communication, attendance and cares reports. Looks like all the answers are in. Attendance and cares reports. Great job. Gina, taking the lead early. Okay, here we go. The app used for keeping track of student grades, schedules, and parent-teacher communications is Constella, Teacher Ease, or Dean's List. Teacher Ease, Teacher Ease. Let's see. Oh, Gina knocked off the top. Dan coming. Here we go. Students use Dreambox for rewarding math practice with interactive student games, writing support, or setting goals. Dream big. Rewarding math practice with interactive student games. Here we go. Classcraft is the home of student orientation and social emotional learning adventures. I know you all know this one. course you know what we use Classcraft for. And the leaderboard. Justin in first place. Not now, please. Vocabulary does not contain catchy tunes to help students remember new material. Very tricky. Vocabulary does not. Yes, it does. Let's see. Alexis, okay. Brain Pop contains mind-blowing facts, current events for students, or animated videos that complement student learning. Miss Albright, okay, here we go. Last question. Khan Academy is a student-facing app containing free math practice. Great job. This is true. All right. Thank you everyone for playing. Runners up were Miss Albright and Alexis, but on the top three we have Erin, MFRI or L, and Pia. Great job. All right. So let's move on. Now we're going to talk about some more student-facing applications. Now, these applications are daily applications. Your student or students will be interacting with these things every day during remote learning. And when we switch to hybrid, it's also likely that they'll be dealing with this every day still. So it's a good idea for us to know as parents exactly what these apps are and how our students are expected to use them. Okay, so we've come a long way from AOL, Instant Messenger, but the concept is nearly the same. Students can find G-chats from their teachers and respond directly from their email window. It'll be important for students to keep their email windows open when logged in for classes, much like you see in the picture here, which is a screenshot of my email window. You can see the chat right below your mail. Students will also see the notification come across the top right-hand corner of their screen if their notifications are turned on. Please note that individuals outside of our organization cannot email students. So for those of you who maybe have to go outside for work throughout the day and your student is at home, you won't be able to send an email to check in. So I just want you all to know that ahead of time. Bug's organization is a sealed loop for students' privacy and protection. Google Drive. How many of us have heard, I lost the paper? I don't know where I put it. Or the classic, the dog ate my homework. Not a thing. Google Drive is a digital document library for all your students' work. They don't have to worry about saving their work because once they leave their computer, it'll stay just as it is until they come back. All they have to do is log back in using their bugs information. Additionally, teachers will look in the drive at students' work to see how they're doing in real time. So it's a great way for us to give immediate feedback when we're in small group sessions. All right, Google Calendar. This is really, really important for remote learning at Bugs. As we have shared, our schedule follows the exact schedule that you'll find in Teacher Eats. So what we've done is put schedules into students' Google Calendar for ease of access and to help them keep track of what's coming up when. Invites for every class occurring on any given day are included in your student's calendar. Every class has a unique link for its Google Meet, just like you see here where the red arrow is pointing. If your student were to click on the Join with Google Meet blue button, they will join up with their class. This is accessible through their calendar invite. Please be sure to click on the link provided in the corresponding date and time for that meet. For example, if math is first period on Tuesday, I have to click on that particular box. If math happens on third period on Thursday, the link may be different. So it's very important that we are using the links that correspond with the date and time in our calendar. Okay, Google Meet. For live or synchronous classes, we are asking students to enter meets with their cameras on. This is a change from last year for those of us who are returning families. Last year, we really didn't stress so much about cameras on, but this year, we really would like to see our students' faces so we can have a face to name for new students and also a face to name for new staff members. This is our form of connection. So please encourage your student to have their camera on so that we can see them and they can see us. However, we would like them to enter with their mics off. So, as you see, in case anybody's wondering, I've included on the slide a picture of what it looks like when you're in Google Meet to have your mic off, but your camera on. Google Classroom. So this is a virtual bulletin board for each class. It's also the place where students can go into their individual classes, find assignments, learning resources, due dates, and graphic organizers, any materials that they will need for that class. So I've included here a picture of my son's Google Classroom. And although this image is not clickable, you can see what your child's Google Classroom will look like. They will have several different boxes for the classes that they're enrolled in, but they need to click Join. If they don't click the Join button, they won't be able to access the class. I also wanted to note here that for any of these Google applications, your student needs to log in with their Bugs email. And so that means that parents, if you want to go in on your end, you'll have to do that with them, okay? Because there is not a parent-specific email or login for these particular applications. So if you want to see exactly what's happening in class, please grab your student, sit down together, and review the material in each class. Okay, so the big question is, where can I find my assignments? I've gone over a couple of ways, but Google Classroom is the hub. That is where you're going to find work, okay? Teacheries is another place that you're going to find work, but I'll tell you the caveat. Teacheries is going to send you a notification if your student has missed a due date. Okay, that means you're missing work. And then when you go into Teacheries and you click on that notification, you'll be able to see what the assignment is. So yes, can you see the assignment from Teacheries? Absolutely. Is that where you want to see the assignment from Teacheries? I don't think so. Please help your student stay on top of their assignments through Google Classroom. Okay, and finally, we're here at PTA Communications. Constella. Constella is the PTA's main way to connect with families and send out information about upcoming events. Many of you probably received communication from Constella for the picnic that we had this past Sunday. If you unsubscribe from Constella's notifications, you risk losing notifications about upcoming events. Much like Teacheries, that may be detrimental to you, so please don't unsubscribe. Okay, here's our last game. Let's do this one more time. Now, this is going to cover different material. Let's see, it's loading up here. Okay. Get your phones out again and join me for our final game round. Okay, we have 24 players so far, so about another 10 seconds and we're gonna get this game started. Three, two, one. All right. Number one, Google Meet is where teachers and students come together in their remote classroom. Yes, of course, Google Meet. And let's not forget that the links live in your student's Google Calendar. Great job. Number two, Google Chat is an instant messaging app for students and teachers. Very good. That's right. And the notifications will come up on your students' emails and on their browser window in the top right-hand corner. All right. Number 3, true or false? Google Calendar allows students to view their class schedule, access Google Meet links, and manage their time. Awesome. Number 4, Google Classroom serves as a virtual bulletin board, a learning resource library, a place to find past, current, and upcoming assignments, or all of the above. Awesome. Yes, it is a virtual bulletin board because there's all sorts of things that can be posted there. It's in the classroom on the stream. It's a learning resource library because teachers can post various resources and supports in there as well. And of course, it's a place to find past, current, and upcoming assignments under classwork in the classroom. Sarah closing the lead. Dan still holding first place. Number 5, students can use Google Drive as a virtual driving school, a way to access their classroom, time management system, or digital document library. Very good. That is their digital document library. And for returning students, they can even see things that they worked on last year. Dan still holding that first place. Number 6, the Bucks PTA uses Constella to connect with parents and send alerts for upcoming events. And if you went to the picnic, you know this answer. Great job. Let's see who our winners are. Awesome job. Congratulations, Dan, Alexis, and Sarah. And 2 runners-up, Erin and Gina. Thank you for playing along. Okay, so now we're going to make time for questions. I just want to get out of this particular screen. Bear with me. Okay. Is it still on present? Susan, can you tell me if my screen is still presenting in the...
No, you're not presenting anymore.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so for questions, Susan, would you mind letting me know what we have?
Yes, thanks to Jess, who's been in the chat. A lot of them have been answered, but I think a lot of them are worth bringing up to you as well, for either of you to answer. Maybe just a clarification about why we have all these apps, how parents will be able to find out information about what they are, how they work. I think there's a lot of questions now about links and codes and access. What should they know at this point? And
Sure.
What's the best next steps? And then as a parent yourself, what do you really need to know? I think there's a little bit of anxiety about all the apps.
Totally understandable. And I will tell you, even as a Bugs employee, I remember when I enrolled my son and then really realizing all the different things that were available to me. And I did feel a little bit of anxiety. I can definitely be open and honest about that, right? We all are learning new ways to interact and get information, but it's important that we learn so that we can overcome those anxieties. Bugs uses a lot of different applications. One, to strengthen the learning experience. Our students learn in so many different ways. We are so far from a pencil and paper world that it's super important that we provide them different opportunities, right? Nobody wants monotonous learning, and that's not what Bugs is about. So we use a lot of interfaces to provide a variety in learning. For parents, we want to make sure that you all can have information whenever you want it, not when we're sending it out, right? So if you're looking for information, you probably have a reason that you're looking for that information. And it might be that thing that hops into your head right before bed. There's not anybody to answer the phone at Bugs at 9 p.m. But if we tell you how you can get on the applications and view this information yourself, you are then empowered as the parent to have conversations with your student. So that's the reason why we have so many different things going at the same time. I hope that answers that question.
And where will be the best place for parents to find like an overview of all the apps? We've been sharing the link to the Family Corner. Is that where they should go like next week for the most up-to-date information?
Well, our Family Corner definitely has tons of information and up-to-date information. But this is the perfect opportunity for me to say that we are coming up on our first PTA meeting of the year. And it's my understanding that there will be a more in-depth review on how to navigate within the applications. However, if you don't find that you're getting the information that you need after tonight or after the PTA meeting next week, please never hesitate to reach out to anybody at Bugs. But of course, our parent coordinator, Ms. Jalissa, she will help you get into whatever applications you need. And if you are missing an email with the validation code, for example, like what we have for Dean's List, she will make sure that that gets back out to you.
All right, and I just put Jalissa's email address in the chat as well.
Thanks, Susan.
So if people are saying that Dean's List isn't recognizing their email or they're having kind of trouble getting in now, what should they do? Just reach out to Jalissa, or?
I had the same issue earlier today, honestly, because I rarely use my parent login, but I wanted to set it up so I could go through the experience again, so I could have this conversation with you all this evening. What I found was that I actually had to start anew, and I'm not sure if it says register or create new account, but one of the options that allows you to create a brand new account is what you'll use, and enter your email address. So the email address that you used upon registration. I know many of us have several emails. Please make sure that you're using the email address that you used during registration, and the unique validation code that was sent out today from the Dean team. If you did not receive this email today from the Dean team, I would again ask that you reach out to our parent coordinator, because that's exactly what she's here for, making sure you're getting this information.
Great. There was also, just to reiterate, there is a PTA meeting on September 15th. It'll be virtual. The information, the links are on the homepage of bugsbrooklyn.org. So you can check that out or save the date for now. I'm sure you'll be getting a lot of more information and reminders about it.
On Constella.
On Constella. And also, Jalissa will be sending it out in her parent coordinator emails. So another question is, are the kids learning these apps? Should parents go over them with them?
Great question. Our students are definitely learning these apps, right? So in the very beginning, I was explaining that teacheries and dean's list is really parent facing. But everything else that came after that was largely student facing. Some of them with a lesser frequency. The Google applications are something that they are doing every day, every period. So I would say yes, our students are learning them. And I don't think that it hurts to have a conversation with them about it, right? Just open the lines of communication. Hey, I went to Appy hour tonight and there was so much information. How are you feeling about this? Do you know how to get into these things? Because sometimes they're not, students are not always willing to say to their advisor or to their teacher next week, you know, I really don't know how to get in here. But they may be more willing to tell you, and then you can reach out for help. So please, yes, check in with your student and see how they're feeling about the apps.
Another question was, is there a recommended browser?
A recommended browser. I'm going to say it's Google Chrome because everything we're using is Google, and it works seamlessly that way.
And that's what Jess said too. So,
great.
A parent asked about Dreambox. How do they find it, or is it assigned later on to the students?
It will, when the students really start to dig into Dreambox, they'll get that introduction in class. However, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm going to just go with they're going to learn how to access that in class. They'll get their login information, which again is the same bugs information. We try to keep that as easy as possible for the kids. However, if you're having issues with Dreambox in particular, you can always reach out to their math teacher because that's the class that they're going to be using it in.
And a parent asked if Classcraft will be used again after this week.
Absolutely. We are trying to use Classcraft in every creative way possible to enrich and engage the students. So be on the lookout for more quests.
And who was the email about Dean's Lists sent from today? If they were looking in their emails, who's it, the sender?
You know what? Let me go back through my slides because I actually, I didn't include that one. Okay, it would have come from the deans. So if it does not say dean team, I'll tell you what. If you all want to bear with me an extra moment, I'll just go to my parent email and tell you exactly what it says in the from column. It may say Brooklyn Urban Garden Charter School, and then when you click on it, it could say Dean Team. Okay, I'm scrolling. Let's see. Yes. The sender is Brooklyn Urban Garden Charter School, specifically Dean Damian. And the subject is Family Portal Validation Codes. Family Portal Validation Codes.
Sorry. I saw that Janara came into the meeting. Janara, do you, there are some questions about the PTA meeting and learning more about tech. Do you want to tell people a little bit about what the plan is? Are you there, Janara? Okay, maybe not, or she'll come on. I think that those were all the questions. If I'm wrong, parents, and you want to unmute and ask, please go ahead.
All right. Well, hopefully you all found the information this evening to be helpful. I know we have a lot of different things that we are sharing and going through this week. I can totally understand any anxiety or just that general feeling of being overwhelmed with everything. But take a deep breath. Please know that the Bugs family is here for your family, and no question is a bad question. Reach out anytime that you need something or you just don't know what's coming next. We are here for you. Thank you so much for this evening. I will stay behind if folks have just, questions popping up here at the end. Otherwise, you know where to find us. Thank you again and have a good night.